What if 7 days from now, you woke up a completely different man? In a noisy world that constantly tells you what to do, how to feel, and what to chase, the Stoics remind us of something sacred. The only true control you have is over your thoughts, your choices, and your response to life. This video isn't about motivation. It's about daily transformation, guided by Stoic daily rules that build. Gives emotional control, gives inner peace, gives mental clarity, gives spiritual resilience. These rules are not hard. They're simple, but they require courage. Because to change your life, you have to change what you do every day. Let's begin. Rule 1. Begin with death in mind. Memento mori. Settle in. Let the chaos of the day begin to recede, like a tide pulling away from the shore. Release the grip of your thoughts, the tension in your shoulders, the tightness in your chest. With each breath you take, feel yourself becoming heavier, sinking deeper into the support beneath you. This time is not for the world. This time is for you. Tonight, we begin a 7-day journey, a challenge. Not a challenge of brute force, but of inner discipline. We are going to walk a path carved by the great Stoic masters, emperors, playwrights, slavesmen who learned to forge an unbreakable fortress within their own minds. These are not mere theories. They are daily rules for living. A practical code for the modern man who seeks to feel less lost and more powerful, less anxious and more centered. Follow them, one each day, and I promise you, your life will begin to change. Our first rule is the bedrock of the entire philosophy. It is the great filter, the ultimate source of clarity. It is a phrase that may sound dark at first, but in its shadow, we find the brightest light. Memento mori. Remember you will die. Breathe that in. Do not flinch from it. In our world, we are taught to run from this truth, to bury it under a mountain of distractions, ambitions, and plans for a tomorrow we treat as a certainty. We see death as a failure, an enemy to be ignored. But the Stoics saw it as their most trusted advisor. They understood that looking death in the eye was not about morbidity. It was about alchemy. It was about turning the lead of our fear into the gold of a life fully lived. Think of the energy you lost today. The time spent on petty arguments, on mindless scrolling, on worrying about the opinions of people who don't truly matter. Think of the fear that held you back, the fear of failure, of rejection, of looking foolish. These are the thieves of your life force. They operate in the fog of a life that feels endless and inconsequential. Memento mori is the clarifying light that burns away that fog. It is the ultimate antidote to wasted time and baseless fear. It holds every action, every word, every thought up to the only standard that truly matters. Is this a worthy use of a finite and precious life? The daily practice for this is not one of fear, but of profound gratitude and purpose. Tomorrow morning, when you wake, before your mind is hijacked by the urgencies of the world, before your hand reaches for your phone, I want you to lie still for just a moment. In that sacred quiet, I want you to say these words, silently or in a whisper. I will die, but today I live. Feel the shift that happens in your spirit. The first clause, I will die, is not a threat. It is a fact that strips away everything that is not essential. It makes the trivial worries of the day seem laughably small. The second clause, but today I live, is a declaration of war against passivity. It is a commitment. It is your soul's call to action. It transforms the day from an obligation to be endured into a privilege to be seized. With that mindset, how can you choose to be passive? How can you choose to surrender your day to fear or apathy? You can't. The knowledge of the endpoint makes the journey sacred. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, perhaps the most powerful man of his time, began his days with this very thought. He wasn't sitting in a comfortable palace. He was off and on. The cold, hard ground of a military campaign, surrounded by death and duty. He wrote to himself as a personal command, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. Let that powerful sentence wash over you as you prepare for sleep." It is not a burden. It is a liberation. It is permission to stop waiting, permission to be bold, permission to forgive, permission to love, permission to act in alignment with your deepest values right now, because now is all you can be certain of. Tonight, you are not just going to sleep. You are surrendering to a small practice of death, trusting that you will be given the gift of another sunrise. And when that gift is given, you will not take it for granted. You will not waste it. You will honor it. Rest now. Let go of the trivialities. Let go of the fears. Let the great truth of memento mori bring you not anxiety, but a deep and profound peace. The peace of a man who knows what truly matters. Rule 2. Control the morning, or the day will control you. Resting in the profound clarity of memento mori, the weight of triviality has lifted, and you are prepared to receive the gift of a new day with purpose and intention. This is the foundation. Now, we must build upon it. We must architect the very first hour of that precious day. For if yesterday was about why you should live with purpose, today is about how you begin. This brings us to our second rule, a rule for the modern warrior navigating a world determined to steal his focus before his feet even touch the floor. The rule is simple. Control the morning, or the day will control you. Breathe in and think of a typical morning. The jarring sound of the alarm. The immediate, almost unconscious reach for the phone. The drawbridge of your mind is lowered and in rushes a flood of external noise. Emails from a demanding boss. Notifications from social media, showing you the curated highlights of other people's lives. News headlines engineered to spark outrage and anxiety. Within seconds of waking, you have surrendered your own inner state. Your mood is now dictated by an algorithm. Your agenda is set by the demands of others. Your focus is shattered into 100 fragments before you've had a single clear thought of your own. You begin your day not as the king of your own inner castle, but as a court jester, frantically juggling the expectations and emergencies of the outside world. This is the fast track to feeling overwhelmed, reactive, and adrift. The Stoics understood that a day begun in chaos will be a day lived in chaos. To achieve a state of inner peace and power, what they called apatheia 1 must first command the dawn. The morning is a sacred territory. You must claim it as your own. So, the daily practice for Rule 2 is an act of quiet rebellion. It is a declaration of your own sovereignty. For the first 30 minutes of your day, your phone remains untouched. It can stay across the room, silent. The world, with all its noise and urgency, can wait. It is managed without you all night. It can manage for 30 more minutes. This is non-negotiable. This is your time. In this newfound silence, this golden half hour, you will not be passive. You will actively set the tone for your mind. You will perform 3 simple, powerful acts. First, breathe. Just sit on the edge of your bed. Feel your feet planted firmly on the floor and take 5 deep, conscious breaths in and out. Feel the air fill your lungs. Feel the quiet in the room. You are not just breathing. You are anchoring yourself in the present moment, in the physical reality of your own body. You are coming home to yourself before you venture out into the world. Second, reflect. Having remembered that life is a gift, you now honor it. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every morning, when you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love. Feel that privilege. Let a sense of gratitude wash over you for the simple fact of your own consciousness. Third, direct. you will ask yourself one simple, guiding question. What virtue will I practice today? Virtue, to the Stoics, was the soul good. It is the excellence of your own character. Perhaps today's virtue is courage to face a task you've been avoiding. Perhaps it is temperance to resist a temptation or an impulse. Perhaps it is wisdom to listen more than you speak and to see situations clearly. Or perhaps it is justice to treat everyone you meet with fairness and respect. Choose one. Let it be your mission for the day. This single act transforms your day from a series of random events into a training ground for your soul as you drift off to sleep tonight. Visualize this new morning. See yourself waking not with a lurch of anxiety, but with a quiet sense of command. See yourself breathing, feeling grateful, and choosing your mission. The phone lies silent, its power over you broken. You are the one in control. You are setting the weather for your own mind, ensuring a day of inner calm and focus, no matter what external storms may come. This practice is the difference between being a leaf blown about by the winds of the day and being the captain of your own ship, rudder. Set firmly, navigating with purpose. Rest now, Captain. Tomorrow, you take command at dawn. Rule 3. Don't react. Respond. You have taken command of the dawn. You have claimed your first 30 minutes as sacred ground, anchoring yourself in purpose and gratitude. You are the captain of your ship, your rudder set firmly. Now, you sail out of the harbor and into the open sea of the day. And the sea, as any sailor knows, is unpredictable. It will test you. This is where our third rule becomes your compass and your anchor in the storm. It is a rule that governs every interaction, every setback, every moment of friction you will face. It is the core of emotional mastery. Don't react, respond. Breathe deeply and let your mind drift back over the day that has just passed. Pinpoint a moment of friction, the sting of an unfair criticism from a boss or a teacher, the jolt of anger when a driver cut you off in traffic, the wave of frustration when technology failed you at a crucial moment, the sharp, defensive feeling that arose from a careless word spoken by a friend or a loved one. What happened in that moment, in the space of a single heartbeat? There was a flash of heat in your chest, a tightening in your jaw. Perhaps words sharp and regrettable leapt from your mouth before your conscious mind could even catch them. This is a reaction. It feels powerful in the moment, doesn't it? It feels like you are standing up for yourself, like you are passionate and alive. But the Stoics would ask us to look closer. They would ask, who is truly in control in that moment of blind reaction? Is it you? Or is it the person who criticized you? Is it the anonymous driver who is already miles away, oblivious? Is it the inanimate object that failed to work? When you react, you are handing the strings of your emotional state to the outside world. You become a puppet, and your strings are held by anyone and anything that happens to cross your path. Your inner peace, that precious resource you cultivated in the morning, is given away for free to the most careless bidder. This is not strength. It is the deepest form of weakness, for it is a surrender of your inner freedom. This is where the wisdom of the slave-turned-philosopher, Epictetus, becomes a lifeline. He taught with piercing clarity. It is not events that disturb people. It is their judgments concerning them. Let that sink into the very marrow of your bones. The event itself, the comment, the driver, the glitch is neutral. It is just a fact. It is sound waves hitting your ear. It is a car changing lanes. It is a piece of code failing. It has no inherent power to disturb you. The disturbance, the anger, the anxiety is created entirely by the judgment you instantly attach to it. That was disrespectful. He did that to me. This is a disaster. That judgment is the poison, and you are the one who chooses to drink it. The daily practice for this rule, then, is to create a space between the event and your judgment. This space is your sanctuary. It is the birthplace of your power. It is the sacred pause. Tomorrow, when the world tests you, and it will, your mission is not to be emotionless. It is to find this pause. The moment you feel that flash of heat, the tightening in your gut, that is your signal. That is your alarm bell ringing, telling you to come back to yourself. In that moment, you will do one thing: breathe. Take one slow, deliberate breath. In that single breath, which lasts no more than 3 seconds, you achieve a miracle. You sever the strings of the puppet. You step back from the stage of the drama and become the audience. You are no longer the actor swept up in the scene. You are the calm observer. And in that space, you will ask a simple question. Not, how dare they? But is this within my control? The other person's behavior is not. The traffic is not. The past is not. The only thing in your control is your response. You then choose your response deliberately, like a master craftsman choosing a tool. A reaction is a wild, uncontrolled fire. A response is a focused, intentional flame. You can choose to respond with quiet dignity. You can choose to respond with a calm, firm boundary. You can choose to respond by walking away, preserving your peace. You can choose to respond with the virtue you selected for your day: patience, wisdom, courage. The choice is yours. That is real power. As you lie here on the edge of sleep, replay that moment of friction from your day. But this time, edit the film. Insert the pause. Feel the anger rise, and then see yourself taking that one slow breath. See yourself asking, is this worth my peace? Feel the heat dissipate. Feel the calm return. See yourself choosing a response. That leaves you feeling strong and in command, not regretful and drained. This is the training. Tomorrow, your only goal is to find that pause just once. To catch yourself in the act of reacting and, instead, to choose freedom. Rest now in the quiet confidence of a man who cannot be easily disturbed. The world may send its storms, but you have found the unshakable harbor within. Rule 4. Embrace discomfort. Voluntary hardship. You are resting in the quiet harbor of your own mind. You have learned to create a sacred pause, transforming yourself from a reactor into a responder. You are no longer a puppet. You are the one who holds the strings. This is a profound mastery of your inner world. But a fortress, no matter how well designed, must have strong walls. A warrior, no matter how clear his strategy, must have a strong spirit. A man can have perfect control over his responses, but if his underlying character is soft and untested, he will eventually crumble under the sustained pressure of life. Our modern world is a conspiracy against your strength. It whispers a seductive lie from every screen, every advertisement, every corner of our culture. The lie that comfort is the ultimate goal, that ease is the highest good, that any form of pain, struggle, or hardship is a problem to be eliminated. We have become experts at avoiding discomfort. We have food delivered to our doors, entertainment beamed into our eyes, and a million ways to numb ourselves from the sharp edges of reality. But in this relentless pursuit of comfort, we have created a generation of fragile souls. We have become like hothouse flowers, beautiful to look at, but utterly incapable of withstanding the first frost or the slightest storm. A man who has only known comfort becomes a slave to it. The smallest inconvenience becomes a catastrophe. The slightest pain becomes unbearable. He lives in a constant low-grade fear of losing his ease. This brings us to our fourth rule, a rule that acts as a forge for the soul. It is a direct antidote to the weakness of our age. Embrace discomfort. The Stoics called it voluntary hardship. Breathe. in and think of your relationship with what is difficult. Do you seek it out, or do you instinctively recoil from it? When the alarm rings for an early workout, do you leap out of bed, or do you surrender to the warmth of the blankets? When faced with a difficult but necessary task, do you tackle it first, or do you procrastinate, seeking the fleeting relief of the easy path? The Stoics knew that just as muscles need resistance to grow, the spirit needs hardship to strengthen. A sword that is not hammered in fire and quenched in cold water remains a dull, useless piece of metal. A man who does not intentionally test his own limits will never know his own strength. He will live his entire life as a shadow of the man. He could have been taught voluntary hardship is the practice of deliberately choosing to do hard things, not to punish yourself, but to train yourself. It is an act of profound self-respect. It is you telling yourself, I am not weak, I am not fragile, I can endure. Each time you choose the hard path, you are casting a vote for a stronger version of yourself. You are building calluses on your mind. The daily practice for this rule is elegantly simple. Do one hard thing each day. It does not need to be monumental. It needs only to be a conscious choice to step out of your comfort zone and build your will your most powerful weapon. Tomorrow, choose your training ground. Perhaps it is the cold shower. After your normal warm shower, turn the dial to cold for the last 30 seconds. As the icy water hits you, your body will scream. Your mind will panic and beg you to stop. This is the moment of truth. Your job is not to fight the feeling, but to master your breath. Breathe slowly, deliberately. Stand firm. You are teaching your nervous system that you, your conscious mind, are in command. You emerge with a feeling of victory that no amount of comfort can ever provide. Perhaps it is fasting. Skip a meal you would normally eat. Endure the small pangs of hunger and observe them with curiosity, not desperation. Realize that you are not a slave to your appetites. Perhaps it is physical exertion. Add an extra set of reps to your workout. Run a little farther than you planned. Choose the stairs instead of the elevator. Welcome the burn. It is the feeling of your limits expanding. Perhaps it is saying no to temptation. Forgo that sugary snack, that mindless hour of television, that impulse purchase. Every time you master a small desire, you strengthen the muscle of your discipline. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus, himself a former slave who endured immense hardship, taught this principle relentlessly. He knew that if you want to be strong, you must learn to love discipline not as a punishment, but as the very tool of your liberation. As you drift into sleep, let go of the fear of discomfort. Reframe it. See it not as an enemy, but as your most potent ally in the quest for self-mastery. See the cold shower not as a torment, but as a forge. See the early alarm not as a cruelty, but as a call to arms. Tomorrow, you will not just endure the day. You will attack it, starting with a voluntary challenge of your own choosing. You will prove to yourself, in the quiet arena of your own will, that you are not a man who seeks comfort. You are a man who builds strength. Rest now, warrior. For tomorrow, you will step into the fire and emerge stronger. Rule 5. Say less. Do more. You are forged in the fire of voluntary discomfort. You have met the challenge you set for yourself, and you are stronger for it. Your spirit is no longer soft. It is tempered, resilient, and ready. You have mastered your inner state, and you have begun to master your will. Now, we must turn to how this newfound strength manifests in the world. How does a strong, centered man move through his day? How does he interact with others? In a world filled with noise, with endless talk, opinions, and pronouncements, the Stoic path is one of radical, powerful quiet. This leads us to our 5th rule, a rule that will conserve your energy, amplify your impact, and earn you a level of respect that loud words can never achieve. Say less, do more. Breathe in and think of all the words you spent today. Think of the conversations you had, the meetings you attended, the comments you posted, the opinions you shared. Now, be honest with yourself in the safety of this quiet space. How many of those words were truly necessary? How many of them were just noise, filling a silence? How many were attempts to impress, to posture, to prove you were smart or witty? How many were complaints, disguised as observations? We live in an age that glorifies talk. We are encouraged to share our truth, to have an opinion on everything, to broadcast our every thought. We mistake the volume of our words for the value of our contribution. But the Stoics knew that true power lies not in what a man says, but in what he does. His character is not revealed in his eloquent speeches about virtue, but in his virtuous actions when no one is watching. Every unnecessary word you speak is a leak of your vital energy. It is a small expenditure of your focus, your power, your life force. A man who talks incessantly is like a city with 1,000 unguarded gates. His energy dissipates in every direction. He is porous, unfocused, and ultimately ineffective. A man of action, however, is a fortress. His energy is conserved, contained, and directed with immense force toward a single chosen purpose. His silence is not empty. It is heavy with intention. When he does speak, his words land with the weight of his deeds behind them. People listen not because he is loud, but because his words are rare and backed by a history of execution. The daily practice for this rule is a discipline of deliberate verbal economy. It is not a vow of silence, but a commitment to meaningful speech. Tomorrow, your challenge is to become a vigilant guardian of your own words. You will filter everything you are about to say through 3 simple gateways. You will only speak if your words serve to uplift, to encourage, to support, to praise someone genuinely, clarify, to ask a necessary question, to remove confusion, to state a clear intention, instruct, to teach, to guide, to give necessary direction from a place of knowledge. If your words do not pass through one of these 3 gates, you will consider holding them back. This includes the urge to offer an unsolicited opinion, to jump into a pointless debate, to gossip, or to complain. You will be amazed at how much you would normally say falls outside of these categories. In the space created by your quiet, you will focus on doing. Instead of talking about the project, you will work on the project. Instead of complaining about the mess, you will clean the mess. Instead of describing the kind of man you want to be, you will simply take an action that man would take. You will let your work your discipline, and your character be your message. The Emperor Marcus Aurelius, a man who had to command armies and rule a vast empire, constantly reminded himself of this principle. He wrote in his private journal as a command to his own soul, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." This is the ultimate distillation of this rule. Stop the debate. End the performance. Close the floodgates of empty talk. And embody the virtues you admire. Let your actions be your argument. As you drift towards sleep, feel the power of this quiet. Imagine yourself moving through your day with a calm, focused economy of motion and speech. You are not loud. You are not desperate for attention. You are a force of nature. Your presence is felt not because of the noise you make, but because of the impact of your deliberate, focused actions. This is the quiet confidence of the man who knows his own worth is not determined by applause or by his ability to dominate a conversation, but by the integrity of his work and the strength of his character. Rest now in that powerful, productive silence. Rule 6. Evening reflection. Judge yourself honestly. You are resting in the power of a quiet mind and a focused will. You have learned to let your actions speak louder than your words, conserving your energy for what truly matters. You have, navigated your day with a newfound sense of purpose and integrity. Now, as the day comes to a close, we arrive at a practice that separates the man who merely repeats his days from the man who truly grows through them. It is the practice that turns experience into wisdom. Without this crucial step, all the other rules are merely a performance. With it, they become a path of genuine transformation. This is our sixth rule, the sacred duty of the evening. Judge yourself honestly. Breathe in and let the day unspool in your mind like a film. The triumphs and the failures, the moments of pride and the moments of regret. In our busy lives, we rarely give ourselves this time. We finish our work, distract ourselves with entertainment, and fall into an exhausted sleep, only to wake up and repeat the same patterns, the same mistakes, the same unconscious behaviors. We live, but we do not learn. The Stoics knew that an unexamined life is not worth living. They treated their own progress as a serious business. They understood that growth is not automatic. It is the result of deliberate, honest, and consistent self-assessment. This evening reflection is not an exercise in self-criticism or shame. It is not about beating yourself up for your failures. It is an act of a wise and compassionate commander reviewing the day's battle, not to condemn his soldiers, but to make them better, stronger, and wiser for the next day's campaign. The great Stoic philosopher Seneca, a man of immense influence and wealth, considered this evening ritual the most important part of his day. He would not let himself sleep until he had first put his entire day on trial before his own inner judge. He wrote about it beautifully, describing how he would interrogate himself, holding himself accountable. So, the daily practice for this rule is to create your own quiet courtroom of the soul. Just before you surrender to sleep, you will find a few moments of stillness. With a journal, or just in the quiet of your own mind, you will become your own counsel. You will put 3 questions to the man who lived your day. First, what did I do well today? This is crucial. You must start by acknowledging your victories. No matter how small, did you keep your temper when provoked? Did you complete that hard task you were avoiding? Did you follow through on your morning intention? Did you practice your chosen virtue? Acknowledge it. Reinforce it. Give yourself the credit you have earned. This builds momentum and self-respect. Second, where did I fail my principles? This requires radical honesty, free from the poison of shame. Be a clinical observer. Where did you fall short? Did you react with anger instead of responding with calm? Did you choose comfort over discomfort? Did you speak careless words? Did you waste precious time? See the moment clearly, without excuses. Acknowledge the failure not as a stain on your character, but as a valuable piece of data. It is a signpost showing you exactly where you need to focus your training tomorrow. And this leads to the third most important question. What will I do differently tomorrow? This is where reflection turns into a concrete plan. Based on the data from your failure, you create a simple strategy. If you lost your temper, you might resolve. Tomorrow, when I feel that anger rise, I will immediately take 3 deep breaths before I speak. If you procrastinated, your plan might be, tomorrow, I will tackle my hardest task in the first hour of my workday. This is not a vague wish to be better. It is a specific, actionable instruction for the man who will wake up in your body tomorrow. By engaging in this 3-step process, you ensure that no day is ever wasted. Even a day filled with mistakes becomes a rich source of learning. You are creating a powerful feedback loop for your own character. You are becoming your own coach, your own wisest mentor. As you lie here, ready for sleep, let us conduct a brief review right now. What was one victory from your day? Acknowledge it. Feel the quiet pride. Now, what was one moment where you fell short of the man you want to be? See it without judgment. And now, what is one small, specific thing you can do differently tomorrow to improve. Formulate that plan. You have just guaranteed that the man who wakes up tomorrow will be slightly wiser, slightly stronger, and more prepared than the man who is falling asleep tonight. Rest now. The day has been reviewed. Its lessons have been learned. You can let it go completely and without regret, knowing you have extracted its wisdom. Rule 7. Focus only on what you can control. You have come to the end of the day and to the end of our initial 7-day cycle. You have reviewed your actions with the honest, compassionate eye of a wise commander. You have learned from your victories and your failures, and you are prepared to grow. Now, we arrive at the final rule, but it is also the first. It is the alpha and the omega of Stoic practice. It is the master key that unlocks every other rule, the lens through which all of life becomes navigable. It is the single most powerful principle for eliminating anxiety, frustration, and the feeling of being lost. It is a truth so simple, yet so profound, that mastering it is a lifetime's work. This is our 7th and final rule for this week. Focus only on what you can control. Breathe in deeply, and as you exhale, let your mind touch upon the sources of your stress, the worries that circle in the dark, the anxieties that tighten your chest, the frustrations that poison your peace. Think about them. The state of the economy, the political climate, what other people think of you, whether someone will return your call, the traffic on your commute tomorrow, the final outcome of a project you've worked hard on, the health of a loved one, the past with all its mistakes and regrets, the future with all its uncertainty. Now, what do all of these things have in common? You do not control them. They are outside of your kingdom. To chain your inner peace to these external, uncontrollable factors is to guarantee a life of emotional turmoil. It is to be a ship without a rudder, tossed about by every wave and every gust of wind. It is the very definition of suffering, wanting to control things that you simply cannot. The man who feels lost is the man who is trying to navigate by grabbing at the clouds instead of holding his own rudder. The great Stoic teacher Epictetus, who began his life in slavery, built his entire philosophy on this single, liberating distinction. He called it the dichotomy of control. He taught that everything in human experience falls into one of two domains: things that are up to us and things that are not up to us. Your peace, your power, and your freedom are found in knowing the difference, and in dedicating 100% of your energy to the domain that is yours. So what is in your control? It is a surprisingly short, but infinitely powerful list. Your thoughts, your judgments, your intentions, your actions, the effort you put in, the attitude you choose, the character you build. That's it. That is your kingdom. It is the only ground on which you can ever truly stand and fight. Everything else, other people's opinions, health, wealth, reputation, the outcomes of your actions, is external. You can influence them, yes, but you do not control them. To stake your happiness on them is to build your house on sand. The daily practice for this final rule is an act of supreme mental triage, best performed each morning, but powerful to reflect upon each night. Tomorrow morning, as part of your ritual, you will define your focus for the day. You will take out your journal or simply hold it in your mind, and you will list 3 things you will focus on today that are completely within your control. For example, I will control my focus, working for 2 hours with 0 distractions on my most important task. You control the effort, not the project's success. I will control my patience when I interact with my family, choosing to listen before I speak. You control your actions, not their reactions. I will control my attitude at the gym, pushing myself with gratitude for what my body can do. You control your mindset, not the number on the weights. And then, you will make a conscious decision to let go of the rest. You will mentally release your grip on outcomes, on other people, on the uncontrollable chaos of the world. This is not apathy. This is wisdom. It is strategically focusing your power where it can actually make a difference. It is the art of protecting your peace. As you lie here on the very edge of sleep, feel the immense relief of this principle. Feel the crushing weight of the world's problems lifting from your shoulders. They are not yours to carry. Your only duty is to your own actions, your own character, your own little kingdom of choice. Focus on being a good son, a good partner, a good student, a good man. Focus on your effort, your integrity, your next right action. In this, you will find a peace that no external event can ever take away. You will find that you are not lost at all. You are standing on the only piece of solid ground in the entire universe. Your own will. These 7 rules, if practiced, will build a fortress inside your mind, not just for 1 week, but for life. Because Stoicism isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about mastering them. It's not about being cold, it's about being calm in the fire. The world is loud, but your mind, when disciplined, is a quiet, powerful weapon. Choose to sharpen it.